welcome to our last video chat of 2024 of our Donkeys and Dragons video chats, where we spend about 15 minutes talking about some topic related to holistic testing. Today, our topic for discussion is about things that I learned at Agile Testing Days and things that Janet might have learned too, which just happened in November in Potsdam, Germany. We'll explain more about this picture in a minute. Hello, I'm Lisa Crispin.
And I'm Janet Gregory. So I realized when I showed the picture that I cut off lean off the one side. So I'm really sorry about that because she was so terrific on it. So let's get back to the conference that we're going to talk about. Last year, 2023, I announced it would be my last year there since I decided to stop attending conferences for many reasons. I did join the online version, but it's really not the same. And so it's really hard kind of watching what was going on. There was lots of good content available, but I missed those social aspects. So, Lisa, can you tell us what was different this year? Because there always seems to be something new at that conference.
Actually, the first thing that struck me, I always talk about Potsdam as my home from home because I think this year was my 14th year at Potsdam and my 16th year at Agile Testing Days. I've lost count. And when I got to the hotel, they had a welcome home banner across the entrance to the hotel with the Agile Testing Days logo. And it was like, because it is my second home. So that was a nice touch. It was kind of a theme for the conference. Even though most of the people attending, as usual, were new, but there were lots of alumni, of course. But obviously, this picture on our slide, that was the musical, which seven people have worked really hard all year since last conference on this full-blown musical. Last year, Samuel, Nietzsche, and Lena Weberg did a duet kind of musical keynote, and this time it was a full-blown musical with a great plot and wonderful lightsaber choreographed fights, and you name it, it had it. And they defeated the AI monster, so it's not going to take over our jobs.
That's a good thing. It's a really good thing. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep sharing the slide, or you want to stop sharing the slide?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I stopped sharing. Should we try over again?
No. Let's keep going. That's fine. We're still talking about Agile Testing Days.
Okay.
We're good. Yeah. So lots of things happened that are new. One thing is that they brought back the Testing Experience magazine, and they gave away hard copies of it. It's digital as well, but I just like having a magazine chock full of great articles in my hand.
Yeah, and it's been a long time since we had digital version or hard copy of any magazine, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and we have an article in it. That's quite an honor to be included, but lots of other great articles. One of the other new things for this year at the conference were these deep dive tracks for test automation, AI, accessibility, and continuous integration and continuous delivery. So each of those deep dive tracks had a keynote, had multiple talks and workshops, panel discussions, and open space sessions. So somebody who wanted to really focus on one topic could pretty much spend the whole conference just diving into that one conference. I didn't get into any workshops or open space sessions because in addition to my own workshop, I was also having coaching sessions so that teams that attended the conference together, if multiple people from one team came to the conference, they got a free 45-minute coaching session. So those were fun too. There were several of us volunteer coaches.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I kind of like the idea of that deep dive into, something specific, because sometimes you get just little chunks of it and you never get that deep dive. So it must have gone over fairly well because I think they want to do it again next year, if I heard correctly.
Oh, good. So, yeah, I heard good things from people who did attend one.
Oh, good. And I know one thing that's different, and it made me sad, is that I wasn't there for Lean Coffee. Ashley Hensberger did that with you. How did it
Yes.
go this year?
Well, I don't think we had quite as many people, Janet. I think you were the big draw, but no, we did have a
I
good
doubt it.
a full house every day. In fact, one day Lisi Haka facilitated a third table for us, so that was
Oh,
cool.
good,
And
good.
even the morning after the party, there were plenty of people, so hooray! Uh,
Yay.
so that's always a highlight.
Mhm.
And of course having Ashley do the tutorial with me, I kept calling her Janet. It was embarrassing, but it went really well. We had a great group of participants there, so
Good.
that was
Or,
fun.
yeah, probably just force of habit.
Yes,
And I'm
exactly.
sure Ashley just kind of brushed it off and it would
She
have been
just
fine. Yeah.
she's a pro. She's a pro. She and I have done workshops together numerous times.
Mhm.
It's not the same.
It just occurred to me that perhaps I should have held an online lean coffee for the online people.
Ooh, maybe that would be fun for next year.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's a good
I couldn't do
idea.
it as early as that because that was like 1 o'clock in my morning or something. So,
Yeah,
but
well, that's a time zone thing's hard to fix because you are many time zones away. So
yeah.
Janet, so that online conference, I mean, the time zone obviously that was a big blocker.
Mm.
I actually got into the virtual conference even when I was sitting there in a talk because I'm like,
Ah.
what is it like for them? And I could see it on my phone, and I
Mhm,
could see people
mhm.
could chat with each other, and that they could ask questions. And in fact, in the sessions, which had lots of Q&A time, which I thought was great, the uh, the track chairs who were paying attention to the remote questions prioritized
Yes.
those questions even over questions in the room. So I felt that was really nice and inclusive for the online people. Did you
Mhm.
see anything like that?
Yeah, and it was, and when conferences make that effort to include the online people, it
Mm-hmm.
makes such a huge difference. Unfortunately, I attended only a few sessions because most of them were in the middle of my night, and I didn't feel like disrupting. But I intend to take full advantage of all the recordings and watch them in my own time. I did see the musical, and it came across really well online. Even not as good as in person, I'm sure, but it was really good. I did take advantage of the chats in the sessions I was with. I think we could have probably had more discussion in the chat, um, but little I did. I really enjoyed that little bit of interaction. Kind of saying hi to people and stuff. So it was good, and it probably was very good for the people who were joining from that time zone anywhere in
Yeah.
Europe. North
Mm-hmm.
America is just really difficult.
Yeah.
It is. So I know that you can't see all of the sessions. That would be crazy. Um, but what were some of them you went to?
Well, I've enjoyed so many of them. It's hard to just pick a few, but I really
Yeah.
enjoy Calder's talk on how to deal with what she called herozillas. So that person on the team that sees themselves as the superhero and has all this knowledge, which they want to keep to themselves, of
Mm,
course, they get in
yes.
the way of teamwork, and they don't value learning for the team. They don't really value quality because they're actually hurting quality. And I don't know about you, but I've had those people on my team before. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and she gave different types of how these types of people that disrupt the team, and she gave really good tips on how to deal with them. So just one example is she said, call out bad behavior by asking questions like, "Oh, you're suggesting we do XYZ? Didn't we have bad
Ah,
results last time we tried that?" And of course, documenting the bad behavior, getting support from management, and she did point out that you do need psychological safety to be
yes.
able to counteract that. And at the same time, that person is diminishing the psychological safety. And there's one quote from her that sticks with me. I don't know if she was quoting somebody else, but she said, "Psychological safety arrives on foot and leaves on horseback." So it doesn't take long for one person to destroy that feeling of trust and that I
Yes.
can ask questions and I can express problems that I notice.
Yeah.
So she kept reminding us nobody's irreplaceable, and this kind of bad behavior it just should not be tolerated, or we know quality is going to suffer.
Yep. Oh, for sure. I remember working with one fellow, and he had a wall full of thank you cards from the users for fixing the problems. Unfortunately, we never were able to tell the users that it was him causing the problems in the first part by putting
Mm,
things into production without, you know, it was just a horrible cycle.
yeah,
So, yeah, I relate well.
it's super
Yeah.
frustrating.
Any other talks that jumped out at you?
Well, many. One of them was Liza. I don't know if I can pronounce her last name. Nikolaevich's talk on. I was really attracted to it because the title was something like, "What does a tester do on a team that owns quality?" Um, and she had a lot of good observations, and one was the power of tiny gains, tiny improvements, which
Right.
inspired our Agile Testing Fellowship newsletter this month. So that was a
Yeah.
really great takeaway. But she had a lot of good suggestions for how testers can support their teams in continuous improvement, helping to identify obstacles and think of experiments to try to make those obstacles smaller. So it really resonated with me and my experience.
Yeah, a lot of times I hear people, they go, but I can't do anything to help because they think they need to own it all. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes it's those small little things that you just do stepwise and makes all the difference in the world. I agree. Um, so they looked like there were some really good keynotes. And again, most of the keynotes were in the middle of the night. But are there any that resonated with you? Like, I'm sure there is, but
I
which ones resonated with you?
The keynotes are always good. I heard someone say, "Oh, I think these are the best keynotes ever." It's like, well, I don't know. I remember
Oh,
some really good keynotes from past years, but
there has been.
lots of really good ones. One that sticks in my mind was one of the early ones, Lavina Ramchandai. I'm butchering her last name. Lavina did a really good, really effective keynote about accessibility, and of course, that was part of that deep dive on
Mm,
accessibility. She gave
right.
lots of really concrete examples of accessible and inaccessible web applications to really make it clear, what is the problem here. And one of, and she, she encouraged us focus on accessibility when we're designing our apps. It makes it better for everyone. And of course we know that, but we forget. And we really need, she says we really need those specialist skills on our teams. Subject matter experts on accessibility are really important. Whether somebody on your team already has learned that or you need to bring somebody in. And that's been my experience too. It needs to kind of have a champion that really understands the issues.
I agree.
And the other thing at the end of her keynote, they always had lots of time for Q&A at the end of the
Mm.
talks. And she had purposely built accessibility problems into her slides. And so she asked us, she's like, got, 10 problems built into the slides. Can you name them? And people did a pretty good
Oh.
job, actually. Things like the poor color contrast,
Mm.
spacing issues where things didn't quite fit in boxes, misspellings, which would affect a screen reader. A lot of them were things that would affect a screen reader trying to read it,
All right.
or
Right.
just anything that can make it hard to read if you've got vision problems. So that was a really graphic demonstration of, some people won't even notice these problems, but they're actually quite glaring.
It's actually a really good idea to incorporate something like that into your keynote. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to guess that a lot of the online people um, might have those kinds of disabilities, which is why they choose online versus, going
Oh,
to a conference.
yeah, that's interesting.
So it is a really good thing. I know in our
Mm-hmm.
latest book, I really tried to put alt text on every picture we
Oh,
did.
mm-hmm.
It's really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It,
Yeah,
it's
it's a lot of
difficult.
description that goes into that.
Yeah. And so having somebody on your team is a good thing that will constantly remind us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I could go on and on, but two keynotes
We got
which for
about
me
three
kind
more
of
minutes. Yeah.
the two keynotes which kind of me fit together were Jenna Charlton and Ashley Hunsberger, and
Mm.
they've both done graduate studies. Jenna's done it in social science and design, and Ashley's done it in more organizational psychology and things like that. And it was like, who are we as testers? What is our identity? What are the symbols that represent us? And also, when we get our job feels stressful and just kind of in that spiral where we're just drained and unmotivated, our job is difficult or tedious. And
Yep.
so Jenna gave us really good ways to introspect and define who we are and using these social science techniques. And Ash gave us really practical tips. How can we find meaning in our jobs? How can we discover what really, you know, gets us happy in our jobs? And she emphasized building what she calls character skills, which a lot of people call soft
That's cool.
skills.
Oh, I like character skills.
Yeah, or you
I
and I
like
have
that.
called them
Yeah.
thinking skills.
Yep.
And she really emphasized we've got to build those skills, which of course we know, but how many software teams get sent to character building skill classes? I don't
Right.
know. And she gave you a shout out because she reminded us it's okay to be good enough. You don't have to be perfect. And that was one of her big themes. You know, we all get plagued with, a lot of us get plagued with imposter syndrome and stuff, but it's okay. It's okay to accept you're imperfect, but still you can find the things that really make you happy in your work and unlock your potential.
Yes, I know. I was, every time she was get down, I'd say, yeah, when I was going to university, because I went as a mature student as well, you have to decide what is good enough and things like that. So it was kind of fun sharing it. So Lisa, thank you for sharing a bit of your experiences. I know that you could share a whole lot more
Well, I'll be writing some blog
if
posts.
we had the time. Yeah. I know that one thing I try to think about when I did attend conferences is I would ask myself a question. Did I, did it make me think? Was there anything that really made me think? And did I want to go back and learn more about one specific topic? And I think maybe those deep dives give people a little bit more to work with, right? Rather than just one 30-minute talk. That was interesting. Where do I even go? And the deep dives might have been provided a little bit more information, right?
Definitely.
So, yeah. And part of the purpose of a conference is also to build relationships with people. And I really missed, you saw that banner saying,
Yeah.
welcome home. And I went, wow. And because we made so many good relationships, but anyhow, so hopefully people were able to get some new ideas, and maybe if you attended the conferences, have a chance to go back and look at some of those talks that you didn't get to because you can't get them all,
No.
right? So,
Thank goodness for the recordings, and I'll get to those sometime too.
all right, so let's close this up, and I'll share our contact information. Always takes me a while to find all the share buttons.
I understand. Technology can be a challenge. Yeah, so please get in touch with us. Here's some information. We have a new book out, Holistic Testing Weed Quality in Your Product, available on LeanPub. We'll plug for that. And we would love to talk testing with you anytime, tell you about our holistic testing courses, anything you have questions about. Just get in touch with us.
Yeah, that book is soon to be on Amazon. So
yes.
Hopefully within a week or two. Yeah.
Keep an eye out. And and get in touch. We're on Blue Sky. We're on LinkedIn. And if you like our video channel, please like and subscribe on YouTube. And also check out our newsletter. You can go to Agile Testing Fellowship, agiletestingfellow.com to check out our newsletter and subscribe, and also our blog posts. So we post blog posts there pretty regularly too. So that's it for this year, but we'll see you soon again next month.
Yes. So let me figure out how to stop sharing, I can stop sharing, but how to stop the recording. Bye-bye.
Bye.